You're all very welcome to today's event. I suppose first of all we just start off, what's the cow type on the farm? It's all first cross Angus and Hereford, say, from the dairy herd. Typical example of the cows here in front of you and likewise here behind. Mature cow weight, say, is in the region, say, the 625 kilos. So I suppose it's considered, I suppose, a small enough cow type, say, for this part of the world, but it's certainly delivering in terms of results. We look at the calving interval, for example. So over the last number of years, our calving interval is very good. And say for the year gone by, or the 2023 calving season, say it was 364 days. We compare that to the national average, which is 393. What's driving that for us? I suppose an important factor to remember, say, is we would have excellent fertility in the herd, considering, say, that all the cows are coming from, say, are all half Frisian. So that's certainly a big bonus to us here. We look at the calves per cow per year. Again, Newford, say, over the last number of years is typically in around the 1 when we compare to the national average, which is 0.87. So look, there's certainly a certain level of mortality beginning to creep in there, which is represented in the figures. All those figures here are produced, say, from your ICBF Suckler Cow report, so any of you can go home after today's talk and do it for your own farm and compare the results. One of the biggest things here for Newford, say, is our 6-week calving rate. For the last number of years, it's been continued to increase. And again, for the 2023 calving season, it was 93%. Fair enough, it's a busy 6 weeks. But I suppose, look, at the end of the day, all your cows have to calve. And it's up to your own management decisions, say, when you want to calve them. So look, when you're calving, you're better off to be busy and just get the job done. And it leaves you time then, say, especially for us, to prepare, say, for the breeding season ahead. Again, 200-day weight, say, from your ICBF report, the national average is 275 kilos. We look at last year's weight, we're 315 kilos. What's driving that? I suppose there's a number of factors. Again, it's our cow type. Cows have plenty of milk. Again, they're half Frisian. But say it's optimising genetics as well. And I'll let Stephen, the farm manager, talk about, say, the selection criteria and the bulls that are being used. But we're really chasing, say, for example, the calf here beside you, say, is a Belgian Blue. And this calf here beside you is a Limousine. So there's a lot of thought and effort, say, gone into choosing and picking the bulls and matching them to the cows to really optimise the genetics to produce the best calf possible. And then another important factor is, say, our grassland management. Again, grazing your optimum pre-grazing cover, say, 12 to 1500 kilos, and anything above that will be taken out of surplus bales. The weaning efficiency, again, for the farm is very good. So say, for example, we take the cow, is, say, 620 or 650 kilos. On any given year, we're producing a weanling, say, come September, because we wean, say, the first or the second week in September, and that's again just down to management practices, say, and also to extend our grazing season. But on any given year, come the second week in September, these calves here in front of you will be weighing 320 kilos. So again, the cow is rearing a calf that's more than half her body weight. What's driving that? Milk and genetics and grassland management again. One thing you're probably wondering here, cows empty. We have high fertility in the herd, but you have a high, say, proportion of the cows that are being culled each year. Why is that? I suppose we have a 10 weeks breeding season or 10-week breeding window. Any cow that falls outside that is culled. And there's no passengers carried or no, say, favourite cow carried, because what we want to do is to maintain our 6-week calving rate in and around, say, the 80 to 90%. And one of the biggest important factors as well we look and see, say, in terms of the cow type, to see is it delivering on Newford. Newford's cow type, the replacement index is €139. The national average is €88. So there's an awful big difference there. But if we look nationally at the top 10% of suckler herds, their replacement index is €115. Why are we able to be beating that figure here in Newford? It's coming down again to the selection criteria when we're choosing what's the type of animal that's here in the final pen, we're buying them in as calves. We want that animal that's coming from, say, good Frisian, Holstein Frisian herd, but also that animal has good characteristics in terms of carcass weight and conformation score. So we know what that calf is being sired by, and that's driving this figure here for us. We might leave any questions till we have till the end. So I'll hand you over to Stephen there, and he'll discuss the breeding performance, say, on the farm. Thank you.
Hello, lad, and welcome to you all. So I suppose I'm the manager here, and I keep the place ticking there most days anyway. But I suppose I'll take you through January to December, maybe from a health point of view and management and breeding. So we start in early January, and all the cows get a rotovac vaccination just to keep scour under control. We go on then, and as Donall has said, the breeding or the calving season kicks off the end of January, and we're calving for February and some of March. And this year we had 93%, I think it is, calved in them first 6 weeks. So it was busy, but it kept everything under control, and it made vaccinating calves and looking after calves and dehorning calves and all that goes with it easy, because you've bunches of 10, 15, 20 coming through, you know, in a weekly period, and it's easy to keep an eye on what's done and what's not done. So then we eventually got around to breeding, which we started on the 3rd of April, our pre-breeding checks, which consisted of tail painting all the cows and allowed us to keep an eye on what was bulling and what hadn't come in them first 3 weeks. Now luckily this year everything actually came bulling, everything was cycling in them 3 weeks. So we got to the 24th of April, and we pulled out the AI flask and started AIing. And it's going to be 100% AI here, and has been for the last number of years. And there's a list of bulls that are going to be used this year. There's 6 or 7 bulls there. That's the list of bulls, and it's in the booklet. And these bulls are selected off a list of criteria we have here that the team put together every year. And I suppose some of the main takeaways from that list would be the carcass weight being over 35 kilos on mature cows, and then over the 25 kilos on younger cows and heifers. And then I suppose another important figure just to point out would be the calving difficulty. And you know, using AI allows you to keep that low if you can, like, and we keep it under 8% for the mature cows and under 6% then for heifers. So there was 86 or 7 cows calved this year, and I helped maybe somewhere 15 to 20 of them, give or take. You know, a lot of them do the work themselves, and the easy calving bulls contribute greatly to that. So how AI works here then, we're doing once a day AI, and we retail painted all the cows the day, the 24th, whatever it was, yeah, and let them off. And with them went a vasectomized bull. We bought 3 vasectomized bulls, and we saddled him up with one of these chin balls, which has paint in it, and he wears it on his chin. And when he's rising on the cows, then it paints on their back, and they're very hard to miss. Also then there's the Moo Heat collars, which is a electronic contraption which I suppose senses when the cows are in heat, or when the bull spends enough time near them, and you'll get a text to your phone. Now it's a great help for farmers that maybe work part-time or away from the farm, or if you have an out farm and you can't be watching the cows the whole time. You know, it looks after the work for you, and you get a text. So whatever we are now, we're 4 weeks into breeding now, and all of the cows have come. So there was 80 cows for bulling, and they all came in the first 3 week period. The last cow went in on day 21 of that cycle, which was unbelievable. It was brilliant that they all came cycling. We're about 12 days now into the second cycle, and there's about 10 or 11 cows have gone through repeated. So you know, it's looking healthy at the minute. Similarly then, the heifers, there was 25 heifers for breeding, and 24 of them went through the crush for AI in that first 3 week period, and the last one has come since. And of that 25 now, halfway through the second cycle, we've had 4 repeats. With the once a day AI then, what we're doing, a lot of people I suppose are familiar and used to the morning and evening, and if she's bulling in the morning, you cover her in the evening, and vice versa. You know, with suckler herds, and the cows aren't in the yard every day, once a day is loads to be bringing them in. So what we do is come out in the morning, and anyone that's been bulling since the evening before or in the morning is taken in and AI'd. And then any cow that's still bulling strong, so there's actually a cow bulling, I don't know if you see her over there now, she was AI'd this morning, you'll see the bull with her. she's still bulling now, and if she's still bulling now come 4, 5, 6 o'clock this evening, we'll eye her a second time tomorrow for the same serve. And that's been going on here for the last number of years, and what they've found is about somewhere between 15 and 17, 20% of cows get 2 straws for the one heat, so 2 consecutive days if you like, at a 10 or 12 euro a straw, and that number of cows, you know, we find it justified. It's 200 euro in the year, and you might be guaranteeing an extra 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cows in calf in that first cycle. You're not going to miss a heat, you know, so it's beneficial from that point of view. And then that's the breeding. So the breeding will be 10 weeks. It'll last until sometime in 1st of July, is it, or something? 4th of July. And then we'll move on, and later on in the summer we'll get around to scanning the cows, and last year's figures are there on the board. You can see there was 72% of the cows held to the first service. By the end of the second 3 weeks there was 90% of them in calf, and then there was 10%, and that lended itself then to, as Donall was saying, our tight calving period, which was a busy 6 weeks, but there's loads of beneficial factors to that. So I suppose that's the way the farm runs for the year, the first 6 months of the year anyway. It's all about getting calves on the ground and then getting the cows back in calf to start the cycle for next year again. So
just something there that I should have mentioned as well. I suppose we have a very tight and busy 6-week calving period, but say Stephen outlined the vaccination, say that you have groups of calves, say they're ready to vaccinate, but another important factor, say, and benefit of that would have been highlighted, say, in the slaughter performance, say, of the herd. Not only have we groups of calves coming fit, say, for vaccinating, but we also have a very consistent and even group of cattle, say, that are all fit for slaughter at the same time. And say particularly, say, our heifers, for example, the likes of those here beside you to our right hand side, on average, say, they're being slaughtered at under 18 months, so they'll be killed off grass this year. And last year's ones, say, were slaughtered at 17.9 months. So again, that 6-week calving rate, very busy period, but it gives you a great number of cattle to sell at any one time.
And then I suppose to mention here, you're looking at 3 categories of stock here in front of you. We have here on your left would be a mature cow. She's a 7th calver. That's her 7th calf there. It's a Belgian blue heifer calf by KZG. So I suppose what it is an example. There, Donall has her up now. An example of, I suppose, the best kind of calf, the best quality calf you'll produce off of cows like this. We certainly wouldn't have them all like that, because Belgian blues, as I'm sure as you'll know, won't lend themselves to the early finishing, but a scatter of them through the place is never any harm, and that's an example of her. Then here in the middle we have our 26-month heifer, so she calved at 24 months. I suppose she's probably 27 now at this stage, nearly June, isn't it? So that's a calf there by LM 2014, Edendale Ivor, and he was born somewhere the 10th or 12th of February. So she's doing a fine job on him, and she's been served since now, and her 21 days has actually passed, so hopefully she's back in calf, please God. And then here in the top we have a maiden heifer, so she's 15 months, and she has been bulled as well. She's covered AI'd to LM 2014 again. He's the sire choice here every year for the first calvers. There's more information there for you on the bulls. That's a quick brief overview there of the criteria, but all the bulls and their names are in the booklet. I think it's page 13, and there'll be a further list of some of the other criteria. There's days to slaughter and things there as well.
I think it's fair to say, Stephen, like, you know, with bulling the likes of the heifer here on our far left hand side at what, say 14, 15 months of age, and we look at this animal here that's after producing her 7th calf, bulling that earlier animal, it doesn't say restrict mature cow weight, like with the type of animal that we are dealing with. Like,
they have a good bit of growing to do yet. Like, it's a long time till she calves, and that one there was the same size this time last year. 330 kilos we try and have them for the day that are going to the bull. So 25th of April to 1st of May, have them at 330, 340 kilos, and you should be good to go. Look after them then well for the latter half of the summer, and pen them separately for the winter, and give them as much silage as they want, and the best silage you have, I suppose, and you know they'll look after themselves. I suppose a lot of people might say it's maybe easier to do it, the 24-month calving system, with maybe half-bred stock or stock coming from, or early maturing stock like Angus's and Whiteheads. But I suppose below Kildalton College would have the more traditional suckler type cow, and they're achieving good results with their 24-month heifers as well. And there's various farms around the country, but there's only 24% I think of national farmers calving their heifers, suckler farmers at 24 months, and I suppose it's something that contributes to the profitability of the farm and helps running the farm. You're not carrying a bundle of heifers for an extra 12 months before you get a calf out of them. So.